Hey everybody, it's Karen Anderson here on our live Q&A with representatives from Lawrence Hope. We talk about this all the time. We post about it at least once or twice a month. We send out brochures with our tableside rack cards. So this is something that the majority of you watching should be very familiar with. But before we get started talking about everything that has to do with the organization, talking about the incredible products, and then ending with our contest, I want you guys to wherever that button may be, like and subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every time we go live and you can have an opportunity to participate with us and share it. Share it so that others can receive the same education and awareness as you do. And so let's get started. I'm just going to read some bios here. With us tonight is Tara Cohen. She's the Senior Vice President of Growth for Lawrence Hope Medical ID Jewelry, originally a Lawrence Hope customer herself. Tara often draws on her own experiences as well as those of her family and friends as she writes extensively and speaks publicly about the importance of custom medical alert jewelry. The mom of two has lived all over the country and has been proud to call Kansas City and Lawrence Hope her home since 2013. In addition, our newest member that we're so excited she's going to be with us a lot more often in the future is Hannah, is it Degner? Did I say that correctly? All right, she's a dynamic presence at Lawrence Hope. She takes an active role throughout the company, supporting marketing, management, development, production, customer care. The list goes on and on and on and more. You'll often spot her in marketing as she pulls double duty as one of their favorite hand models. So she's the hand that you're going to see on the screen. In her free time, Hannah enjoys traveling the world with her extended family. There in Kansas City, Hannah and her fiance are busy planning their 2023 wedding and buying their first home. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. Always so much fun to see you.
Yes, and tonight we're not going to play a game like we did the last time because I want to get into some serious business because we always have, thankfully, new members joining our community that I can't believe how it's possible might not be aware of your organization and the incredible things that you're able to bring for something that's so serious and sometimes can bring people down, but there's no reason for that anymore, not with Lawrence Hope. So I'd like you guys to get started and just bring us up to speed on the history of the company a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Tara Cohen, and I've been with Lawrence Hope since 2013. I started as a customer way longer before that, and the company itself has been around for 21 years this month. So we're all very excited celebrating our 21st anniversary. Business started in 2001 as a random act of kindness for a Kansas City teen with type 1 diabetes who would lose her medical IDs or, they would break, but she just overall did not want to wear them because they were exactly what you think of when you think of traditional medical ID jewelry. And I can't think of many 13-year-old girls or grown adults, for that matter, who really want to wear that. And so our founder and CEO, who's still CEO and owner to this day, Leanne Carlson, did this random act of kindness for this girl, Lauren, hence the name of the company, and made her not just a bracelet, but a bracelet that was interchangeable, which has become the cornerstone of the business. And Hannah will show you a bunch of these, where the bracelet strand itself and the ID tag are separable so that you can mix and match your strands and tags, but it also gives you lots of other benefits, like if your information needs to be updated and you need a new tag, you don't have to do away with all of your beautiful bracelet collection. Likewise, if you want a new bracelet, you don't have to purchase new tags every single time. So there are these wonderful benefits to the interchangeability, and Hannah will demonstrate some of it for us in just a little bit. But that's really the foundation of where the company came from. And when we first started, we were very, very niche. It was medical ID jewelry for teenage girls with type 1 diabetes. Mm-hmm. And very quickly we found out that teenage girls with diabetes were not the only people who wanted fashionable medical ID jewelry. So, very quickly, and then now all the way 21 years later, we're about a 25-person team in Kansas City, Missouri, and we design, produce, craft, engrave, and ship all of our jewelry from our Kansas City location, in-house customer care. We always say it takes about 6 months for someone to really get up to speed in our customer care, which is why we don't use Zendesk or any services like that. If you call us, you are talking to a Lawrence Hope employee who is physically in our building. And we take that really seriously because you're trusting us with your health information and your payment information, and that's personal. And so we want to make sure that all of that stays as secure as possible. So we handle everything in-house, and we have a local Kansas City team, which we really love as part of our business model. So what I'd love to do is give you, I know we were going to talk through a little bit about specific jewelry, and Hannah's got a whole bunch of stuff to show you guys. The one thing I really want to make sure, especially for new folks who are not familiar with us and who are not familiar maybe with med IDs in general, is that medical ID jewelry, we're going to show you a bunch of pretty stuff because everybody likes to see the pretty stuff. But we do carry also very simple, low profile pieces. We are not just a company that sells med IDs for ladies, which is a common misconception. We sell fantastic kids products, great men's products, and certainly we have a wide array of women's products. But our men's line is really fabulous and growing. And then our kids line is fun and filled with stuff that kids actually want to wear. It helps them form that lifelong habit of being proactive in their own healthcare by wearing their med ID every day. And it helps them broach those conversations for themselves and advocate for themselves. So I'd love to hand over to Hannah and let Hannah show you guys some new jewelry, unless Karen, you have a question.
Yeah. So before we get into the goods, which is the part I'm going to try to hold off for a little bit longer, the importance of having a medical ID bracelet. I think some people, they minimize the importance, and for others, it's extremely important. And I'll speak for myself. Before I had my aortic dissection, which was almost 8 years ago, I had Crohn's disease and suffered with that for years and never gave any consideration to the need of having to have a medical ID bracelet. And yet I have an IV contrast allergy. I have a latex allergy. I mean, these were things that just, you don't realize, you don't think, what if, God forbid, I'm in a car accident, or for whatever reason, I pass out because I started new biologic medication and I can't speak to let somebody know in a different hospital system, in a different state, in a different country, hey, I have this allergy. They're going to find out the hard way. Yes. So, and when I first had my dissection and I knew, okay, I'm going to really need to wear something now. Before I found Lauren's Hope, it was so depressing. I would see the little papers in the doctor's offices that you'd have to rip them off. And I would stare at this stainless steel and this bright red in the middle of the tag. And all it did was just bring more attention to myself that I have this significant condition and potentially dangerous, fatal situation. That was not what I needed on top of the stress I already had. Right. And it wasn't until we had our first initial conversations when, after I bought my first piece and I started looking at this, I'm like, there's just really something to this. And I think maybe the community, they're not really even aware. And yes, there's lots of companies on Amazon. I've been gifted one of them. I'm telling you, it is not the same. It is not the same as getting it from you guys. And just something really changed after we first spoke the first time. And I just became very passionate about this. Aortic Hope is always very passionate about communicating with the community, the different products that exist out there that can really help their lives be a little bit easier. So maybe we can talk a little bit to the importance of having this. And then before we get into the jewelry, if we can talk a little bit as we show a tag maybe about the different things we can put on the back, because that's very overwhelming for people. They don't realize there's acronyms. We have to still talk about the new shopping experience that they can have online. But yeah, there's a lot of important stuff that I still want to make sure we hit, and then I want to have fun and I want to shop.
Sure.
That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. So lots of great points, and please, point at me if you think that I miss any of them. Wearing medical ID jewelry is super important. And of course, it has become my life's work, and I'm very passionate about it. I wear medical ID jewelry every single day, and not just because I am part of Lauren's Hope. I joined the company because my son needed a medical ID when he was a child. My son has autism and an intellectual disability, and when he was 3 and going off to special ed pre-K, he didn't speak. And I had to hand my toddler to all these people I didn't know. And it was terrifying to me. And I put all the stickers and all the vinyl labels and all the things all over him and everything he owned. And still, I wanted something on him. And that's how I came to the company. And that's a whole other long story. But even before I did this for a living, that was something that I felt strongly about, that we all need to take that active role and advocate for ourselves and our loved ones. And one of the ways that we can do that is by recognizing that you never know when an emergency is going to happen, which is why we all wear seatbelts, right? You don't know when you're going to need that thing, so you just always use it. And a med ID is the same. We hope you never need it. And when you do, or if you do, we really want you to be wearing it. And if you don't like it, if it doesn't fit, if it's not attractive, it's going to end up in a drawer. And like, then it's of no use to anybody. So we make fashionable jewelry and we make jewelry of very high quality, because your med ID should keep you safe, and it should also be safe to wear. So we don't use base metal, we don't use cheap materials. We try really hard to make sure that what you choose is going to be a good fit for you. One of the things that you mentioned about shopping on Amazon and you know, in kind of marketplaces in general, a lot of times what you'll find there is non-custom engraved jewelry. You'll find something that just says, you know, heart condition, you know, see wallet card. And while, hey, you know, that's better than nothing, the fact is that, like, that doesn't tell us who are you and who should we call for you and how should we help you. When a Good Samaritan or a first responder is helping you in an emergency, having that information right there is so important. And this comes up a lot where people say, well, you know, I have an Apple Watch. I have my Med ID on my phone. I keep a wallet in my, you know, a card in my wallet, or, you know, those types of things, or I don't want my name on it because I don't, you know, if that feels personal. But you want a first responder to be calling your name to you. You want to be responding to your own name, right? You want them to be able to look up your records when you get to a hospital, because you want, and so you need to be identified. It is not just about a condition causing an emergency, right? So many people talk about this, and Karen, you touched on this, where sometimes people have conditions like people who have type 1 diabetes, for example. Your condition itself may cause an emergency any given day. And so people with type 1 diabetes are very, very compliant in wearing medical IDs because it's really, really drilled in. But if you have contrast dye allergy, literally no one might tell you that you need a med ID. But the fact is that in an emergency, if you're hurt and they're taking you for a scan and they use contrast dye, they're going to make that trauma even worse, right? Now you're in a worse situation. So we have conditions that cause medical emergencies. We also have conditions that can be worsened or exacerbated by common treatments and everything in between. And that's the other reason why custom engraved medical IDs are so great, because you are not your condition. And most people don't just have one thing, right? Exactly. So you have a history of an aortic dissection, and you may also have a sulfa allergy. And you have a name, you have emergency contacts. And so we engrave all of that for you. I never mind showing my personal engravings, which you can even on Zoom on the screen, you can see all that dark lettering. And so I always encourage people to use that. That's our premium laser engraving. And I highly recommend it, because even in any situation, it's really easy to read. And so those things are super duper important. First responders are trained to check neck and wrist for medical ID. They're looking for that symbol. They know that symbol. We can never guarantee what a given first responder is going to do on any one given day. But what we do is we survey first responders. We make sure they're familiar with the types of medical IDs that are so common now, where you see these beautiful pieces of jewelry and you're looking for that symbol. And they're familiar with it. We ask them if med IDs speed up time from identification to treatment, and it does. They tell us med IDs are helpful. If they're custom engraved, all the better. You definitely want to know if you have any drug allergies. They want to know if you have really major conditions like heart conditions. Very important. And they want to know who to call for you. And so all of that stuff, super important. And that's, to me, that's the meat of it. That's why it's so important. And also, you feel better. Our customers just tell us, I feel more confident leaving the house by myself. I feel better about it. And like you were saying, it's not so depressing to think I need to wear a med ID. It's more like, hey, I just got a prescription for jewelry, and that's pretty cool.
That's right. And you make a very good point, because there were a couple of things that you said. We have conditions that would be important to notify somebody, but we also have conditions that if they try to treat us could create even worse situations. And so many people in the community are on blood thinners, and there are people that aren't in the aortic world that are on blood thinners. And that's a really important thing to tell somebody. And I've heard people say, well, I got this special band that has a USB thing. Nobody's taking the time to take it out, to put it in their computer. Nobody is taking the time to go through somebody's wallet to look for that card. Nobody, at least not a bystander, is taking the time to grab somebody's phone, take their thumb, put it on the phone if you're lucky, to try to unlock the phone. This is literally the fastest way. You flip it over and you're going to get the most critical pieces of information right there for anybody to see. Your loved one, first responder, a bystander.
Yes.
I mean, people get sick in doctors' offices. They pass right out in front of them. And not that no one's going to know, the dermatologist does not know necessarily everything that you're on without having to pull it back up on the screen, but they will right away by reading the back of that bracelet.
Thank you. Yes, that's 100% correct. And I do want to touch on something you just said about the USB IDs. I would love for every single person in your community to buy a medical ID from us. No matter where you buy your medical ID, we do not recommend USB IDs, and I will tell you why. No hospital system and no ambulance system that we have ever spoken to will put an unknown flash drive into their system. They're not allowed to, even if they have a device on the ambulance that they could plug it into, they're not allowed to. And we're talking about finding that thing, identifying that thing, putting that thing into a computer, pulling up all of your information. It's great for storing your own personal information, but if you lose it, your information is out there and there's nothing you can do about it. And if it gets damaged, if it gets wet and you don't know, then you're just carrying around this thing that's totally worthless.
Exactly.
Tech is sexy and everybody loves the tech IDs. And there are some tech IDs, the scannables and things that for secondary stuff, for having all your insurance and all your test results and all those types of things, handy, awesome. But in that moment, when something is really not right and you cannot advocate for yourself, your Med ID could be covered in snow, dirt, blood, you name it. We're going to wipe it off and read it, and we can, and you have that piece of information that they need to help you right then. That's what matters so much.
So let me ask you, because you guys are better at this than me, do you want to go through products? Or do you want to talk about what would go on a plate? Maybe products, because I'm sure you have different sizes and shapes and lines that can fit on that. And then we can get into what we can actually put on the plate and what's recommended. And then you can talk about the shopping, personal shopping, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. The fun part.
This is the fun part. So Hannah's going to show us a bunch of jewelry. And Hannah, as you do, maybe we can talk, if you want to, talk about the lines of engraving and the varying pieces of engraving. And if you're too far away from your screen as you're showing jewelry, just tell me and I will talk for you.
Okay, I'm excited. It's my favorite part.
What kind of products do we want to start with?
Okay, so it's a little bit hard to hear Hannah. So Hannah, why don't you start with those new gears that are right in front of you on the table there? These are our new Metro gears. They are super fun. So if you're sporty and you like kind of an Apple Watch, they're an Apple Watch band size band. I'm not saying these are Apple Watches, and they're certainly not made by Apple or anything like that. That size band, that's what we're talking about here. So Hannah, can you lay that on your wrist so we can get an idea of the scale of that piece, please? So these are new, they're super fun. They're really lightweight silicone. They're perforated. They have a little contrasting color in there. You can see that big plate on the front with that big medical caduceus symbol, and then we engrave on the back. And these take, I think 8 lines of engraving. They're the biggest engraving space we have. But they're just pretty cool looking piece. Very trendy and super comfortable, waterproof, 24/7 wear, super, super comfortable. Great way to be able to fit a lot of information if you have that, particularly for folks who have pacemakers and other implanted devices where they have serial numbers that they want to put in addition to their name and their emergency contact and their medications and stuff like that. When you've got, oh, I also need to have Boston Scientific and pacemaker and this whole long serial number, these are a great option. And no magnets, so we don't have any of those concerns. So those are a great, great option. And these just came out about a week ago.
Not interchangeable.
No, These are not interchangeable. Okay. These are, you know, affixed tags, but they're just, you know, I just think they're super fun.
They're really, really cool looking. Yeah, I love the waterproof. I just love the whole look. It does look very similar to that of an Apple Watch.
Yeah, they're you know, they're just that. Yeah, there's Hannah with her Apple Watch, same size. We have a bunch of more masculine colors, more neutral, more feminine, you name it. There's a whole bunch of things on the site. But some of the most fun stuff that just came out was for ladies. And one of the most fantastic things that just came out last week is our brand new Lilac Abalone Tag. I am borderline obsessed with this tag. The whole building just flipped out when it came in. Hannah, can you pull back like maybe an inch? So you can see
obsessed.
Like, gorgeous abalone, right? It's
gorgeous.
So, I love this so much. It's so pretty. It has this purple inlay in the center of the kidoo that really gives you that nice pop of color so that it really does stand out against the that pattern back there. But you see that beautiful movement to it. And that's part of our new Coastal collection. The Coastal collection has mother of pearl, abalone, and these beautiful, beautiful inlays. So Hannah, pull over a little bit closer to your body. There you go. So awesome. So that's the mother of pearl tag. You can find these there's a Coastal collection link on the website. You can also find these in our tag section. And then of course you can also find them on interchangeable bracelets as options. We have them in rose gold. We have them in yellow gold. We have them in silver. We have that beautiful abalone. We also have the new lilac abalone, and of course the mother of pearl, which comes in white and also in pink. So there's just kind of something for everyone in that new line. I will say one of the things to note about these is that these are flat tags. And so people often ask us why, because most of our other tags have a little curve to them, but the abalones and the mother of pearls are flat. And the reason is that abalone and mother of pearl are little stone pieces, you know, and physically, in order for us to achieve that great look, those pieces have to be flat. They're still super comfortable. Hannah, how long have you been wearing that tag? Like 6 weeks?
Oh, far longer than that. I put it on in May. I wore it all through Europe and all through this summer. So it's been in, and I haven't taken it off. We don't usually recommend wearing it for water wear, but I've been testing it for water wear to see how it goes. And it's actually been going well. We still wouldn't recommend it in case the enamel comes up, then water might get underneath that layer of natural stone. And that could cause some damage, but it's been going great. There's no damage on it. It looks as new as the day I put it on.
They're so pretty, and they have a great, as she's saying, this kind of epoxy coating over them so that it really protects that beautiful stone and the and that beautiful abalone. And it's such a nice way to get kind of this upscale look that's just beautiful. And you know, I just don't think that once you put it on and you wear it for a day, you kind of forget that, oh, there's no curve to it. It doesn't matter because you're wearing it on, you know, the top or the underside of your wrist, and that is flat, so it doesn't matter. So that's fabulous. I love how there's like this kind of pastel-y sheen to some of them, and they're all unique because it is natural abalone, and then it is manufactured mother of pearl. So it's really just a lot of fun. Some other products that just came in that are also in that family are, we have some new Urbans, and then I think you have some Tahoes with you. So Urbans do have magnets in them. They're small magnets. Sometimes folks with pacemakers are, you know, it is and or is not okay to have magnets. So it's a good idea to just keep in mind that the Urban line does have magnets. But our Urbans are super cute. We just brought them out with these gorgeous howlite inlays. So it's this marbly stone behind that caduceus that gives you great contrast. So you can actually see that caduceus even better. And it's just gorgeous. It's this super luxe look. Lots of engraving room on the back of those. And they have a magnetic closure. Very similar also, again, to an Apple Watch, but smaller in scale. But you see how that magnet just like pops on there, and you can slide it so you can adjust, which is so fabulous because it is super adjustable and easy. So if you have swelling, if you have trouble clasping your bracelets, dexterity challenges, stuff like that, you see how easy it was for Hannah to just put that on right there with no physical clasping required, right? You're not trying to work with a little lobster clasp or things like that, which sometimes for some folks are just, they're fussy and they just, you know, those clasps can be fussy and they just, you know, I want something that's a little bit easier. So that is great, especially if you have super long nails like Hannah, or if you have any sort of dexterity or swelling issues. So,
And what is different about that and the first one you showed, unlike the one with the bracelet, is you are getting the tag and that bracelet is an all-in-one. So where the other ones where it detaches, because not all of your bracelets are detachable.
right.
So when you have it where it is detachable, like you were saying, if you're going to go in, you don't have to buy a new plate. You just buy the bracelets. You could ask for bracelets for your holiday gifts, for a Mother's Day gift, for Father's Day, whatever you want. You can just ask for the bracelet part and attach it. Or you can ask for a new plate if you needed one. But again, you know, I'm going on my 8th year and my plate is still going well. I didn't know I should have gotten the premium engraving. I think it would have held on for a lot longer if I had done that. Now I know for future. But this one that you're showing is an all-in-one. So you're going to fill out the information on that plate.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a really good point. And so, especially for folks in your community, where I know a lot of folks in the aortic community are on blood thinners, something that you had mentioned before. So two things about blood thinners, which I'm sure all of you know this, there are 2 main categories of blood thinners. And so each type of blood thinner has a different, what is the correct word for this? Countermeasure to be taken in an emergency. So it is not enough to have on blood thinners on your medication. Certainly that is helpful information. And if you're buying an interchangeable and you're in kind of that early phase and you might try this med, you might try that med, having on blood thinners, wallet cards so that you can be updating that wallet card with what you're trying at the moment is great. But if you're on Eliquis, you're on Pradaxa, if you're on Coumadin, whatever it might be, if you're on that and you know you're going to stay on that a while, we highly recommend engraving what you are on and using the word on before it. Because if you just engrave, a lot of times people just want to go simple, right? I'm on Pradaxa, I just want to write Pradaxa. But sometimes people just put penicillin. Like, you need to clarify, are you on this thing or are you allergic to this thing? Because there's no specific, there's a common misconception that this color of symbol is for this condition. I had someone the other day ask me, well, I know red is for allergies. What's the one for my condition? You get to pick. The caduceus color is totally personal choice and preference. And so you get to pick, which means it's really important on the back just to say, I'm on Pradaxa, on Eliquis. And that way those first responders and hospital personnel are better able to help you faster and more accurately. And again, we never say that's 100%. That's always how that's going to be. You never know where you're going to be and who you're going to come across. But that's the goal, and that's what they're trained to do. So, so Hannah, why don't we grab one of those Tahoes, because I think these are just one of the most exciting things that we've brought out in the last year.
Oh, look at that! It's like a watch.
Yes, it's so discreet. It's beautiful. We have them. Our gorgeous mother of pearl inlay. We just brought these out with we've got 2-tone, 1-tone. Hannah, I think we've got that new rose one. Like they're fabulous. They come in fancier and less fancy tags, 2-tone and single tone, but they have that kind of Rolexy watch band style that it just is classic. It never goes out of style. And these aren't adjustable, and they are an all-in-one piece. So you're not going to switch out that plate. But, for some folks, if you just want that one, this is the one I'm going to wear all the time. Yeah. Or if you just want to change them up and that, that's good. These are so fun. And again, really great when you have dexterity issues, because Hannah, can you pull that towards your face a little bit? Because we're having a hard time seeing you. Awesome. So you can see it has what's called a push button closure. And it's a butterfly closure. So it just literally pops right open when you push those 2 little buttons together, and expands open for you, which is super easy to do. So Hannah can do that and then pop that right open. Boop. Super easy. So again, such a great option when you have, any kind of dexterity, and just the style of it. I just think it's really fabulous. And we've never had anything like it. I just love them.
My list is growing of what I'm going to be asking for the holidays. And just want you to know, I've got Tahoe, Coastal. I mean, I'm working the whole list here.
It really is. And it has so much engraving space, which is great. Because again, when you have major conditions, you have a lot to say. These are really great products, because the urban tags, the urbans and the Tahoes use those same tags.
Right.
And the metros, those larger ones that we showed you, there's just so much room. But we know we do this for a living, right? This is what we do. So we know how to do this. No one comes in knowing what to engrave on their medical ID. Like, what are you supposed to put on that? And how do you fit all that stuff? So one of the super coolest things that we do these days is we let you get on a call with Hannah, and she will Zoom with you. And if you're lucky, you'll get Hannah or you'll get Leanne, our CEO, both of whom do the majority of our virtual shopping sessions. You can sign up for a virtual shopping session online. There's a link on the website, and of course, we'll pop that over to you also, Karen, so that you can put that in the notes in the video. We you just hop on, you make an appointment, and we will walk you through everything: sizing, engraving, the benefits of each type. Hannah, what are some of the common things that you talk about on a virtual shopping session?
Typically, when I'm on a virtual call with somebody, we are talking about sizing primarily, and then what are they supposed to engrave on there. I typically will walk them through step by step or condition by condition. I had a customer last week that she knew exactly what she wanted to engrave for her husband, but she had no idea where to start for herself.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of walking somebody through like what's really important, and what is something that I can put on a wallet card and write C wallet card for an additional step.
And then how do you know, do you know how long it took before I realized what ICE was? I did not know that meant in case of emergency. I'm like, why is everybody writing ICE? I didn't know. And then when I did my initial bracelet, I didn't know how to acronym allergy. I was like, oh, maybe ALGY. Is there an R? I didn't know what to put. And you're right. I don't even think I put on Plavix. I think I just wrote Plavix, and people could have thought that was an emergency. I don't even remember if I put my name. I'd have to go look at it. It's in my bedroom right now, but I just didn't know. And so this is a new service that you're offering.
It is a new service, and it's free. And it's great. We book these in 15-minute calls. That's usually enough. But I mean, I think Leanne was on a call yesterday with this lovely lady in LA for over an hour, and they just were shop until they dropped, and it was just super fun. They had a great time, but she got all her questions answered and had that personal experience because we're online. But if you were a brick and mortar store, we would greet you when you walked in, right? We would shake your hand if you wanted to shake hands, and we would sit with you on the couch and ask you to just kind of tell us, who are you? What's going on with you? Like, how can we help you? Learn about you, and then learn about your style. And then we would bring you a tray of jewelry, and we would really have that boutique experience, because that's who we are, right? We're a bunch of jewelry people. It's fun. Like we sell jewelry. What's not fun about that? Right. And so we try to take all of the not fun parts and like, we got that stuff. Like, we know how to engrave stuff. We got you covered. Let's pick what works for you and make it cool, right? And like, make it something that you enjoy. And that's why a lot of people honestly will, on the anniversary of whatever it is that is going on, right? The anniversary of a major event, like a dissection, major life event. The anniversary of being diagnosed with diabetes. People will call that a diversary.
Okay, we call ours an aortiversary.
There you go. It's I earned this year, I survived this year. I thrived, that is a thing to just really celebrate and own. And so a lot of people will come in, and we'll see them, they order every year on the same day. And it's like a treat to yourself and a little celebration of really owning that year. And that empowerment is something that's so important to us as a business, to really be able to give those opportunities to people to have that moment and feel that way and feel confident going out, knowing that they've taken that proactive step. And so when we get on video calls with folks and do these virtual shoppings, like, that's so fun to be able to just create that for folks.
That sounds so fun, because it is something that's talked about in the community often. People are like, what do I put? Where do I begin? And now I know I can tell them, well, let me tell you where you begin. Here's the link. And so while they're on the call with you, they really could be on our link that we offer everybody, our share sale. They could be on that ordering while you walk them through this, which is also good to know. And I tell everybody that you always have such great discounts and specials all of the time. The chances of them coming online and not having something is slim to none. So that's also the beauty about going through with you. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find this customizable experience on Amazon. I mean, I love Amazon. We love Smile Amazon, trust me. But for something that's so key critical, you're not going to get that with anybody but you. So let me ask you, everything is pretty much waterproof then, except for possibly with the natural stones. That one you might want to just maybe not sit in the hot tub with that one.
So Hannah, do you want to talk about that?
There's actually a lot of products that I would not recommend for waterware, and they're more of our high-end luxe line. Okay. If they have like stones or crystals like this, I would not recommend that for waterware. showering, hot tubs, chemicals, lotions, that sort of thing can really bring down the lustrous appearance of your bracelet and can really kind of decrease the lifetime that your bracelet has. Okay. Taking care of it by taking it off for the shower, making sure you use your polishing cloth on it, that sort of thing can really extend the lifetime of your bracelet.
Okay. Do you have any products there, additional products that might be more male centric or unisex?
What'd you bring home? So Hannah is at home because for us, we're Central Time, so we're after hours. So Hannah took all the stuff home. Okay. And so I don't know how much men's stuff she has with her. Oh, Stingray.
Love that.
Well, this is cool. Hannah, can you kind of twist it so everybody can see that great dimension to this piece? It has this really cool carbon fiber inset, and then it has that epoxy over it so that it's really protected. And it's got this gorgeous box chain, which I really love. Yeah. A lot of our men's stuff is just elevated this year. We have just stepped up the men's line. So we have these, super simple. You can buy a super simple stainless steel dog tag with the red symbol right in the middle. We got you. And if you want a beautiful gold tone, carbon fiber inset, adjustable length dog tag, we got you. So that's really fun. And so those are great. And necklaces definitely are a thing. First responders, 90% of first responders will self-report that they check neck and wrists for a med ID. So it is totally fine to wear your med ID around your neck. Sometimes people are concerned about that. But that is just as normal as wearing a bracelet.
And these are the areas they're going for anyway. They're going to listen with their stethoscope. They're going to check your pulse. They're going to be going in this general upper arm area for blood pressure, which is not far from your neck. So they're going to pick up and see something anyway. So it makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. 100% correct. And like, that for us is like, that's why I love Stingray. I'm so glad you have that. It's just such a great elevated piece. And especially for people, like we find, and this is a huge generalization, but we find women want that interchangeability, right? More women are more likely to want to have multiple pieces of jewelry. But more and more guys want more jewelry. And we are just hearing from men who are just like, hey, I want more options, right? And so whether you're going to buy one thing and wear it all the time, or you're going to have your own, jewelry wardrobe for your med IDs, there's something for everybody. But if you want something a little more discreet, some guys want more discreet. Those necklaces are great. You tuck them under your shirt. It's great. It's very discreet. Yeah. But if you want to wear it out, stylish, and it looks great.
Now, something caught my eye. You put that camera to the side. It looked like a rubberized bracelet with multicolors. What was that?
What you got, Hannah?
Is that what it was that caught my eye? Okay, that could have been it. But there was a bracelet I thought I saw hanging that had multiple towards the end, thick. That's it.
That's the Key
That's
West
it. I was like, is that a Coach bracelet? That was the first thing I thought when I saw it. That's what it looked like.
What? People think it's so Coach or Kate Spade, right?
Yes, or Kate Spade, right.
Right. Fab. That's our Key West cuff. That is the cuff that got us featured in the Oprah magazine. And that's the one that they picked to feature for us. Hannah's bending that cuff so you can really see. Hannah, can you slide your hand a little bit over so we can see? Thanks.
Look at that.
So that's awesome. Some people wear their cuffs with the ends up. Some people wear them with the ends down. Totally personal preference. But those cuffs, Hannah, can you pop that off and show everybody how that bends?
Yeah. So, and I was wondering, where do they engrave it and how many lines do you get in there?
Yep, sure.
Oh, look at that.
Yep. I believe we're doing 5 lines of cuffs. Yeah. And Hannah, you want to show that? We've got a great little sample engraving. That's a sample. That's not anybody's actual engraving.
Okay.
But so you can see right there how beautiful that contrast is. That's that premium laser engraving that is just so worth it. Love that. Every med ID that I buy for my children, myself, anyone in my family, I always do the laser. But you see how it's so bendy. And in the almost 10 years that I've been with Lauren Soap, I have never, ever heard of anyone breaking one of our cuffs. Please don't take it as a challenge, but they really are. They're meant to be bent, right? So sometimes folks get them and they're a little nervous, like, can I widen this to get my wrist in? They're meant to do that, right? So that it's easy to put on, because everybody's wrist is shaped a little differently. Some people want them to be more of a C shape, and some people want a truly round shape or oval, whatever. And those are great options for that because you can really customize it to your body.
That's really fabulous. I want to check in and see, let me check and see if we have any questions or comments. Hi, Terry. Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If there's any questions or comments, we'd love to hear about it.
Sure.
So Karen had a little bit of a hesitation about what exactly you can put on the back. So let's go through this. Let's do a pretend patient, or we could just do mine. I have no shame in the game. Let's talk about what I would put on mine. So, and I'm taking notes. So you do highly recommend first and last name across the top.
Yes.
Okay.
Hannah, why don't you take this?
So yeah, you take this. So if that's line 1 of, let's say, a typical average is what, 5 lines to 6 lines?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay.
Hannah, if we lost your audio. So yes, typically five or 6 lines.
Okay.
Yep, Hannah, I still can't hear you, so I'm going to speak.
Okay. So it would be my name, let's say, on the first line.
Mhm.
And then what would you typically say? Like the most important part of a condition?
Mhm.
So, you know, I've already had an aortic dissection. So I'm doing this as if we're doing our virtual shopping experience.
So
I've already had the aortic dissection. So my last one had aortic DIS. And then I do have an aneurysm right now. So I put, I think, THOR for thoracic, and I put ANEURS. I just did my own abbreviation. Yeah. So you would recommend to put what your current condition would be. That would be, I'm assuming, most life-threatening. Like I don't need to put Crohn's because I'm not going to, nothing's going to happen that I'm going to really feel like I'm in fear of my life. So I put my two, you know, my most important conditions. I think I even put on my third line that I've had TIAs before, and like incorporated it in there somehow. But then I put my allergy. So I distinctly put like ALRGY, which somebody should know what that means. And I put latex, and I put IVCON because I don't think I could have fit it anymore. I ran out of letters. And then my fourth line, I put RX Plavix because in my mind, blood pressure medications are not that important for somebody to know as much as it's a blood thinner. So I put RX Plavix because I went through the whole list of everything, and I'm thinking there's nothing that anybody's going to give me that's contraindicated for anything I'm on, but they need to know about the Plavix. Yes. And then on my fifth line, I put ICE in case of emergency, and I put my husband's name, Joe, and I put his cell phone number. And that was kind of all that I put on for myself. Is that sound like I'm on the right track?
You are 100% on the right track. So kudos to you. Really good job. 10 out of 10 on your engraving. Love it. Okay. So I think that's awesome. You did a great job. A couple things that you know, so just in prep for our call, I pulled together some really common engravings for folks who are in the aortic community, right? So when I'm looking through these, what I'm seeing a lot of is name, right? And then we lead off with that primary condition, right? So a lot of times people will say, I see a lot of bovine or aortic valve, and then the year that happened, right? Or we'll see thoracic aortic aneurysm, which of course is going to end up taking up 2 lines, but that's okay. So, and then we'll see, we'll see aortic stent. We'll see things like aortic valve replacement, and replacement will just be shortened and abbreviated because you can get the gist of that pretty easily. We see a lot of Medtronic pacemaker, and then the serial number underneath. Which is super important because from the outside, they don't know what kind of pacemaker you have, right? And so in a hospital setting, they have to bring like multiple of these devices over to figure out what device you have implanted so that they can, link up with your device. And I am not a device expert. This is how it has been explained to me by the folks over at Boston Scientific last time we talked to them, is that like they're all a little different, and they take, kind of different treatment, and it's harder for them then to know, can I MRI this person? What do we do? How do we help this person? Because they can't. So if your wallet is lost and you in whatever trauma happened, or they can't find your wallet card that says what your pacemaker is, it is just so helpful to have pacemaker. And then if you know whether you have if it's MRI compatible, if it's MRI with care, or if it's no MRI or MRI okay, those types of things are great to put on as long as you've gotten that information from your device manufacturer and your physician. But that serial number and the manufacturer of that device, super important. We see a lot of ascending aortic aneurysm, and then the year, again, you know, so that we know, did this just happen a month ago? Is this, are we still kind of in this survival, like not survival, excuse me, this recovery mode from the event? Or are we, you know, are we 8 years out of it? And like, you know, hey, you need to know this thing, but I am in a more controlled space, right?
Got it.
So those are important things. Sometimes we see mitral valve replacement, bicuspid aortic valve. Sometimes we see risk of dissection if someone is still at risk and their doctor has told them that. And then, of course, then we, after the real big stuff down below, now we go type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. What are your allergies? You know, what medications are you on? How do you treat me? What, you know, should you call 911 or not, basically? Sometimes people with that kind of thing where they're just like, never, ever call my ICE number first. They just, if I pass out, call 911. Like they just don't mess around. So people will kind of articulate that. And especially with some of those larger pieces that Hannah was showing you, there's so much engraving room that it's astounding how much information you can fit on a med ID. And then you can always use that last line to say the C wallet card or C wallet for med info. And then we offer free downloadable wallet cards so you can personalize and print at home. We also sell wallet cards that are more, you know, they're sturdier and they're on cardstock so that you can put them in your wallet. And we sell those in packs so that if you mess up, you've got extra. Or if something changes, you've got extra. And those are great to carry for some of that secondary information or information that tends to change. But you're right on the money. Name, primary stuff, the most important stuff, and then allergies, any other conditions that you may have, and who do we call for you?
Yeah, you know, you just made me think, maybe I don't want my husband's number. You're right, because really, what's that? He's just going to say call 911. So in an attempt to also save space, I just can say call 911. And to be honest, I don't have a wallet card. And I know I've been asked, my husband has said, you should have something because yes, it's in the hospital systems here in my state. But when we travel out of this country, it's not in a hospital system and he needs to know, somebody needs to know. So now you've got me thinking, oh God, I need to add stuff to the packing list. Some work I have to do. But that was a great question, Karen. Hopefully we've been able to help you come up with an idea. And guess what? If you didn't come up with it tonight, you can schedule your own virtual shopping experience with either Hannah or it's Leanne. Is that what you said?
Yep,
the
Leanne,
CEO. And they'll take you through how to determine what to put on the back. So let me check in again and see if we have any other. Let me see. Do you think it makes sense to have your hospital or your medical system's name so that they can follow up and find your records? Is that going to really be important to an out-of-state hospital or an out-of-country hospital?
So great question. Love that. Two things. If your local hospital system, when they have all your records, if you have room on your ID, use it. You have that space, use it, right? So here in Kansas City, St. Luke's is a big thing. All my records are at St. Luke's. So if I have room, I can put records at St. Luke's. And that's great. It's a helpful thing. It's just one more piece of information for people to help you. So it's not a primary piece of information that we typically recommend because, of course, you've got medical emergency stuff to put up top. But if you have room for it, absolutely. And, you know, to your point about your husband, putting that ICE contact on there serves two purposes. Number one, yes, it lets your husband know, hey, something's going on with Karen, right? Get down here. The other thing is that your husband or whomever is going to be that ICE contact for you, it's not necessarily the person who lives 5 miles away or lives with you. It's that person who knows your medical stuff, right? So in my case, that might be my mom, right? And she lives all the way in California and I'm in Kansas City. But she will know my stuff. And so they can say, we've got Tara here. I only have these 6 lines. We lost her purse in transit. Like, what do you got? And she'll say, oh, well, you know, Tara always goes to St. Luke's and her records are there. And this is when she had this surgery and this is what she's allergic to, so that she can help advocate for me. So when we have that room, we really do recommend it, or put it on that wallet card, which we're going to send you some wallet cards, Karen. And I popped that link to our virtual shopping in our chat. So, so that hopefully you guys can display that if you'd like, so that people can sign up for virtual shopping sessions and hang out with Hannah.
We will pull that and post that for sure. And I would say avoid the temptation to put your favorite cardiologist or surgeon's name and number on your tag, because they do move hospital systems, they do leave, and then you're going to just have to get a brand new tag.
Yes,
So.
I agree. Some people do want to put their doctor's name and number on there, and I certainly, it is a personal choice and it's what's going to feel right for you.
Yeah.
What we tend to recommend is that you put at least one emergency contact number, and that it should be the cell phone number of someone who knows your information, because your doctor's office is open when your doctor's office is open. So, you know, that emergency contact of yours, you should share that information with them, right? Okay, if you ever get that call because they've used my med ID, these are my doctors. This is where my records are. Give them that extended information, because that person who doesn't have their cell phone with them just, 24/7. I mean, we're humans, right? And so this is how we live. But your doctor's office, if they're closed, if they're at lunch or what have you, there's that delay, right? And so they're important people, and absolutely knowing who they are and where those records are, that matters. But if it is 4 a.m. on a Sunday,
not going to matter.
I really want you to call my mom, not my doctor.
Exactly. All right, let's check in for any other questions. So on some bracelets, and I'm not sure if this is a Lauren's Hope bracelet, but it would be applicable to your products. And even in some of the ones that you showed, if you can't flip them, I guess then you have to take off the actual band, correct? Because not everything is easily flippable.
That's a great point. So Hannah, can you put a Tahoe on, and I'm going to show my interchangeable again. So we looked at a bunch of these interchangeables, and that sometimes you'll hear us call them mix and match. I can flip this tag over and you can read my information. For the hopefully one time in a very, very long time that anybody needs to access that information, they can flip it. What Hannah's wearing in Urban, Tahoes, other things, you cannot flip that. And that is okay. The vast majority of medical IDs, and even the most traditional medical IDs, if you think about what's that traditional stainless steel with that big tag, they don't flip over. Two great things about that. Number one, it's more discreet. Your information is protected. It's not ever flipping over and showing somebody at the grocery store your information. That if your bracelet fits properly, it shouldn't do that anyway. But it is never going to do that on a bracelet that doesn't flip.
Right.
In addition, that means your engraving is against your skin, so it's never going to get scratched up. So it's protected. Yes, absolutely. Your med ID has got to be removed to be read when those tags don't flip. And a really great portion of med IDs out on the market are exactly that. And it is very normal, and EMTs are used to it.
Perfect. Good to know. Okay, let's keep checking here. All right, well, so far, those are our questions. Now, as people continue watching, I'm sure they're going to have more questions. So we are going to call for those final questions now, but they're going to be watching this in the future. This video is going to be out there for quite some time on YouTube, on Facebook, links on Instagram. It's going to be everywhere. So as they have questions, we're going to obviously refer them over to you. And if they have any questions, in the meantime, they can send them to us at info@aortichope.org. That's info@aortichope.org. You should be seeing information on this video that gives you the link directly to go to Lauren's Hope through us and place your orders. And then we're also going to include that link that allows you that opportunity to sign up for a virtual shopping experience. All right, final call. Is there any other pieces that you want to show us?
Hannah, take it away.
Shopping.
And hopefully we'll be able to hear Hannah again this time.
Are there, children, teens? Do you have pieces for young? Because this does not discriminate. Obviously, this was started with type 1 with a teenager. There's got to be something for our younger community members.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yay!
Okay. I did not bring any kids bracelets with me. I have an active work fit that I would, if you have a kid, I would recommend a bracelet similar to this.
That's skinnier.
Yeah,
it's a little bit less wide.
Yep, it'll grow with them because it's adjustable on the back. and we engrave the information on the inside of the tag, so it keeps your kids' information private. That when they're not playing in a park and somebody knows their name now, it's kept on the inside of their wrist. So I would always recommend something like this for a kid. For a teen, I'm 25, going to be 25 soon, so I don't think I'm too far out of being a teen. I would have worn something like this beaded guy when I was in high school for sure. It's a stretch bracelet, so I just slip it
stretch.
and I have it layered with our aspen chain, so you can see that I just.
Oh, look what you did there! Look at what you did. You put two separate attachable ones. See, my mind was always like, I'm buying the one that either has two strands, and you're sitting here like, I'm just going to throw them all on. Let me clip as many as I can on my tag.
Yeah, you can clip 3 interchangeable bracelets onto our oval tags and 2 on our La Petite tags, which are just a little bit narrower. But I like layering them like this. I think it provides like more ways to wear your bracelets, and you can change it up a little bit easier and make your style really fresh every day.
And you also have charms, because I have a charm that says hope, which of course I love, but you have a lot of different charms that you can add to those bracelets. And okay, so there it is. So everybody, there's the one that says hope, which of course I love. And these come in rose gold, yellow gold, and silver. So again, all of your charms, or a lot of them that I've seen online, come in different colors, and there's a ton of different charms. So if you were somebody who loved Pandora and you went through the whole Alex and Ani, Frank, you can go ahead and grab some charms and add them to yours. Now, didn't you have a bracelet? Did I see one that was similar to that style of Alex and Ani?
Yep. We used to carry that. It was a really cute bangle, that skinny bangle, and it had a big dangling charm on it that had that med info. Right. But we're always trying to stay, current and on trend.
You are.
So those things come and go.
You've got that paper clip chain on your wrist. You're talking about being on trend. I mean, that is right there.
Well, that's one of the really fun things. There's Legacy. That's that rope bracelet. Such a great bracelet. And, a plastic, right? But you stack it with something that's more just like of the moment. Super fun. That's one of the things that I really like. And you're going to see more of these over time. We're just building more and more stuff right now. But one of the really fun things is a bundle, right? So you can find bundles on the site. And these sets are so cool because it'll be 2 bracelets, and then you get to pick your tag. Some of them, they come with a specific tag, but here's a great set that we sell. So this is our Livy bracelet, is that blue one, and then there's Legacy. And then that comes with this gorgeous sapphire tag. That's our traveler tag, and we now have it a bunch of different metal tones and a bunch of different colors. And what's so fun about that when you buy that Livy set is that you have Livy, and you also have Legacy, and you have that tag. So one day you might wear Livy, and the next day you might wear Legacy, and the next day you might wear them together. And so it's just a fun way to be able to kind of change up your look when you feel like it. And so I get a big kick out of that. And we take that, I don't know, sometimes people don't know, well, if I want to stack them, is this one going to look good with that one? I can't, there's no picture of this one with that one. That's when we put these sets together. We do that styling and shopping for you. And so they're all laid out together. And then those are going to work all together.
That's wonderful. Well, I think we do have a question. Let's go ahead and answer that. What's the question here? So your gold tone and your rose gold, what are those metals? What are they actually made of? And do they ever lose their luster or rub off? You know how sometimes if it's not the true metal, they can lose their coloring a little bit. So maybe you want to speak to that. Great question.
So I don't have one single answer for you other than all of our jewelry is warranted. We have a 1-year warranty, best warranty in the med ID industry. So you can always shop with confidence with us. And we never use base metal. We use great quality materials because, as I said earlier, your med ID should keep you safe and be safe to wear, right? The reason I don't have one answer for you is because we have some stuff that's stainless steel and then it has a rose tone plating over it. Then we have other products that are gold vermeil. And we have other products that have a 14 or 12 karat rose or yellow gold plating that's true 14 karat gold or true 12 karat gold. So every product is a little bit different. Some of them, are 12 karat gold vermeil over sterling silver. Whatever it is, though, it's going to be there on that product page for you. And that information is going to be there in the item details and description for you so that you know what you're buying and you have, you have that information. But it's a great question, because sometimes we'll say in rows, right? Our ID tags, it'll say, coastal abalone flat tag in rose. But that's not a rose gold tag. It's that rose tone, because stainless steel is, you want us to engrave it and you want it to last, you want that stainless. It's
Right.
always nickel-free stainless. But it lasts so much longer than if we were to engrave on actual gold. Gold's a very soft metal, and that engraving is not going to last as long. So we're using the materials in each given piece that's going to help it have the best chance of the longest life for you. But some of these are more fashiony, and they're just fashion jewelry, and they're going to last you anywhere from a year to 2 or 5, depending on how much you wear it, what you expose it to. And then it's time for something new, and you try out a new style.
And it's all hypoallergenic.
Yes. So we make sure, we, of course, given what we do, a lot of our customers are more sensitive, right, than average. Sometimes people are on different medications that change their body chemistry. So I can never, ever promise that no one will ever have a reaction. What I can tell you is that I am allergic to so much stuff, right? And so I literally, if we get a new product in, I will wear it. And so and I'll check it. And it's like, no, nothing. I got nothing. It's so rare for someone to have a reaction to our jewelry. But we, I obviously I can never promise that it's never ever anybody, but we do our best to ensure that we have hypoallergenic products that are nickel free, that are really safe to wear. And
good to know.
There are of course exceptions to everything, but we really do our best on that to make sure that we've got hypoallergenic, great quality products.
Very good to know. All right, we're on our final call for any comments or questions, because I know you ladies need to go, and I appreciate all of the time you've given to us. So let me check in real quick and see. So Terry has literally just said, OMG, you're taking all of her money, which I knew was going to happen, because I know Terry, and Terry loves to shop. So next thing you know, she's going to be, every time I see her, she's going to have different bracelets on, and then it's going to be take all of my money, because we're going to end up in a competition on who has the most LH bracelets. So
it's very dangerous to work at Lawrence Hope if you're a jewelry person. I want one of everything. In fact, the girls in the office were, Hannah and our photographer, Jessica, recently had a little bet going as to how many Lawrence Hope bracelets I own. And I had to lay out my whole collection and take account for them, because it's just fun. It really makes something that can feel, like a label or a tag or something negative. It makes it something you can enjoy.
You guys should do like a trunk show. You all should come to work one day, have a potluck lunch on a Friday, lay out all your bracelets that you're willing to trade, and everybody gets to go. And I'm going to take yours. You can take mine, like back in the day when we did sticker books, because I'm sure you had a sticker book, right? Like my double back is good for 2 of your puffies, or your smelly goes to my MasterCard. Okay. Right. Or my Delta Airlines. I really dated myself. Jeez. So yeah, that's what you guys should do with your bracelets. I thought you'd enjoy that. Right?
I love it. Yeah, it is. It's fun. I do want to recommend that if you're going to come and visit us, hop over to Aortic Hope first, so you can click on that link. It is a way that we are able to give back to Aortic Hope and thank them in a tangible way for talking about Lawrence Hope. Click on that link anytime you purchase with us in the next 90 days. Aortic Hope is going to get an actual thank you for that, and they get a commission from those sales. So full transparency on that. If you want a virtual shopping session, just click over from Aortic Hope. Get to the homepage of Lawrence Hope and go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to see a link that says virtual shopping sessions. And then also, of course, we'll have that link here for you, but just make sure on that browser that you've also clicked through from our friends over at Aortic Hope, so that we can thank them for sending you over to us.
And listen, we have had, let me see, we had Terry and we had Karen actively asking us questions and interacting with us tonight. Just going to verify I didn't miss anybody else. I don't know about you, but you know what I'm about to say. I'm feeling like, what are you going to do? Heads or tail on 2 names? I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should just declare both a winner. What do you think?
Why don't we split it, and they each get a prize?
They each get a prize. I love it. So Terry and Karen, you each get a prize. You're going to split that prize tonight with us. Please go ahead and send us over your mailing address to info@aortichope.org. We will be sure to get you electronic gift card number. And thank you so much for asking your questions, engaging with us. And thank you so much, Hannah. You have the perfect wrist and hand. And yes, I noticed your beautiful engagement ring. And thank you, Tara, for all of the wonderful information. It's always such a blast to have you here. And I'm getting ready to have my own personal shopping experience. Yep, I feel it coming on in about 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, you and Hannah, you got some shopping to do.
I've got serious shopping to do. I'm going to shut the door. If you could see where I am, my door's shut. I have this one little light on. I don't want my husband to hear. It's going to be a fun night.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast. Hannah's the most fun to shop with. It's such a pleasure to get her office across the hall from mine, and we just have a blast. I want to thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to be part of your community and for welcoming us on the show today. It's always so nice to see you. And again, everybody, if we can help you, just reach out. We're here for you. We're here to serve you, and it's a pleasure. Then it's really a privilege for us. So thank you so much.
It's such an important topic, and you really make something that's so serious and so important become so lighthearted and enjoyable, and to the point that you just forget that you even have a medical condition because you're just blinded by the prettiness or the sleekness and the modern design. It doesn't matter. So I appreciate your time and explaining all of this to the community. And thank you, everyone who's watching us live and who's watching this in replay. Don't forget to click like and to click subscribe and share this so that other people can become educated about everything that Lawrence Hope does in the community and all of the wonderful offerings that they have online. And until next time, thank you so much.
Bye, thanks.